Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Prediction Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. As always, the NFL show or NFL Prediction Show and the Grueling Truth is powered by Betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino and sportsbook that's right for you. Make sure you check them out at Betting.net. And don't forget to go check out TGT Play on Twitter and YouTube if you're interested in social casinos, which I know Dan is because he likes to do everything virtually because women won't talk to him any other way. I am your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in NFL beat writer with a Cleveland Browns jersey on, Dan Kornhauser. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well, Mike. I'm doing well, and I'm doing even better now that I'm going through this list here. We'll talk about where we finished last week, but I feel good.
Well, just tell us now. Just tell us.
Nope. Nope. You got to introduce our next co-host.
You're not prepared, are you, Dan?
I'm always prepared.
You're a dumbass, Dan. And we've got sitting in the middle. I mean, it's Joe Spillman. What's up, Joe?
Hey. Hey, Mike.
Well, I mean, it's really kind of creepy if I say, well, we're going to welcome to the show our next, coroner, Joe Spillman.
So, right. Yeah. Don't do that. People be scared.
Or detective.
No, don't say that either.
Hey, Paul Sullivan already chimed in, boo Dan, which I think we all feel that way. Dan, what Cleveland Brown and luminary do you have on your jersey?
Brady Quinn.
The medicine woman?
Yep.
Okay, so Dan, you bought a Brady Quinn jersey.
I did. Yes, I did. Right after he was drafted almost.
Okay, and I'm the guy who supposedly likes mediocre white quarterbacks. All right.
So last week I went 9-7. Mike had a hell of a week. You went 10-6. Steve went 6-10, falling out of the race, and Joe, you went 7-9.
All right, so that means I picked up a game. I'm only now 6 out. I'm obviously going to win this before it's over with. Paul Sullivan says, Dan, you are a loser, which I completely agree with, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Love you too, bud.
What was Joe last week?
Joe was 7-9.
Why are you laughing, Mike?
Because that's horrible, because you told me if we let you on the show, you would beat us all every week.
You didn't let me on the show. You were like, hey, Joe. You want to do the NFL?
Now, the first time we let you on the show because Steve liked you.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
I don't know why he did, but he did. And Steve is not here tonight. Hopefully he'll be back here next week. He had some issues he had to take care of. So Steve will be back next week with us. We're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football finally has a good football game. As we had the New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. This is, for the Patriots, this is it, Joe. They're 6-5. They're 2 games out of first. They have to win this game to have any shot to win this division. And really, the way the wild card race is looking right now, this is almost a must-win for the Patriots. The Patriots are getting 4 points, or the Buffalo Patriots are getting 4 points. What do you think?
I think the Bills, they've looked strong at times, and they've faltered at times. Josh Allen hasn't looked so good. I think the Patriots, week in and week out, I think they show up to play. I think that they have been beat this year. Obviously not because of bad coaching. I think they've been beat because of talent in certain positions. So really it kind of surprises me that the line on this game is Buffalo's favored by 4, especially since they're playing at the Patriots. But, I think you're absolutely right. I really think the Patriots are going to pull this game out and outright win. So I'll take them with the win.
Well, see, I would absolutely say that this game is my lock of the week. If I've only got to give 4 points and I'm the Bills against the Patriots, I'm taking that all day long. The New England Patriots cannot run the ball. And they don't really have the weapons. Is Devontae Parker going to play this week? Or what's your name, Dan?
So Parker is not currently on the injury list, but
all right.
Damian Harris is out. Isaiah Wynn is out. David Andrews, their center, is probably out, but he's listed as questionable. They got a lot of guys. Jacoby Myers may not play. He's listed questionable with a shoulder injury. So Patriots got a lot of injuries. For the Bills, it's Von Miller.
Yeah,
pretty much.
which is a
Big
big
ball.
injury. But I think right here, the lack of being able to run the ball for the Patriots, they can't throw it. I mean, Mac Jones actually played pretty well against Minnesota.
Yep.
But I think the Buffalo Bills are just a better football team. And at only 4 points, I'll jump on this all day, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take Buffalo as well. It was nice to see Mac Jones throw for over 300 yards, which is a rare sighting, but they're just not as good. Short week. Yeah, I'm totally on board. I'm taking Buffalo -4.
And Paul agrees with us because he's not a dumbass like Joe. He's taking
No,
Buffalo by 7.
I just picked up a game on you guys. So
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. I mean, we both smoke your ass every week.
Oh,
That's
quit.
just the way it is.
Quit
Well, it's
it.
true. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. I feel bad for you. It's like
You should.
you're the dude. Yeah, you're
Am
the
I-
dude that we have to give a job because nobody else will. What?
Am I the grueling truth make a wish? Is that what you're telling me?
Kind of. Because your wife called me one day and said, Joe's dream is to do an NFL pick'em show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, we'll do it. So here we are. All right. Joe also filled this out. He did it in the wrong order because now we're looking at a 4:00 game. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to let Joe go first because Joe's picking the Bengals anyways.
Yeah, I am
Kansas
picking the
City
Bengals. I understand why Kansas City's favored by 2 in this game.
I don't. Can you explain it to me, or can Dan?
Yeah, I mean they're looking at records obviously, and the Bengals secondary looked not bad this week, but there was some question marks there. And Patrick Mahomes is averaging like 309 yards a game and 2 touchdowns. So I understand why it's a -2 line there. But at the end of the day, I still think that Cincinnati's owned them the last couple of years. They're playing in the jungle. That place is going to be rocking. And I think the Bengals pull this one out.
All right, Dan, I'm sure you're going to go with your Mahomes that you're stupid. Go ahead.
And that I am. I am going to take Kansas City. I think this is the game that they need to win. I think they need to play like it's the Super Bowl. They have to make a statement here. Cincinnati owned them last year. They beat them in AFC chip, and Cincinnati is red hot. They're 7-2 in their last 9. This is what we were expecting all season. They're starting to get their groove. They're figuring it out. Cincinnati's going to be one of the better teams down the stretch. But Kansas City, at the end of the day, it's Mahomes, it's magic, and they can't lose them all. It can't be like Tom Brady always beating Peyton Manning, right? It can't always happen. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs here. It's a nice little line.
Right. I think this is an absolutely atrocious line unless I'm betting on the Bengals because the Bengals should be favored in this game. They're clearly the better team in almost every position on the field. Can you give me positions where the Chiefs are better than the Bengals?
Offensive line.
No, they're not.
Okay.
The Bengals' offensive line the last month is gelled. They're playing extremely well. The Tennessee Titans, if you remember, the Tennessee Titans went to Kansas City, only lost 20-17 with Malik Willis playing. This is the thing. Right now, the fact that you're trying to be, or you are an NFL writer, and when I say name a position, the Chiefs are better, the fact that tight end didn't immediately come to your mind like it did Paul Sullivan really makes me think maybe we should start having Paul Sullivan on the show instead of you.
Well, I started up front. That's where you win games, baby.
Yeah, and up front, the Bengals are pretty good.
The Chiefs have the best center, arguably, in football. They have one of the best guards. They have you shit on the Bengals tackles almost every week.
I still shit on the Bengals tackles, but I will also tell you
they're better.
But no, this is the thing. The Chiefs' defensive line is nowhere near as good as the Bengals' defensive line. All right, so this is my comparison. It's not really who's got the better team. The only thing you've got with the Kansas City defensive line is Frank Clark. And Cordell Volson just took care of Simons. Who else you got?
Chris Jones is good, man. Chris Jones is real good, man. He's got 10 sacks.
He's awesome. He sacks people. Unfortunately, when you play defensive line, it's probably good if you can do both things instead of just play a down or two on each drive or on each set of downs. So I will tell you this. The Chiefs' offensive line is better, but the Bengals have the best run stopper in football in DJ Reader. He's the best defensive tackle in football when it comes to just stopping the run. If you don't believe me, ask the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry last year in the playoffs and last week when the Bengals completely took him apart. The Bengals are better at linebacker. The Bengals, I think, are better in the secondary. Of course, I think both teams, you can question the corners a little bit. Wide receivers is not even close. Kansas City is nowhere near as good as what they were last year, I don't think, offensively, because they don't have the wide receivers. I watched them play a bad Rams team. They looked like they sleepwalked through everything and actually kind of kept the Rams in the game and ended up 26-10. I mean, when I look at this, Jamar Chase is going to run wild. And the issue here is, to me, and I've said it before on another show, but that was in Indianapolis, the Bengals and the 49ers have the best defenses in the NFL right now. And I don't even think that's debatable. The reason the Bengals defense dropped off for a while is you lost B.J. Hill and DJ Reader. So in the end, you say Mahomes is magic. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow is better than him. And I mean, it's obvious when you watch it. See, this is the thing. I get really started to some amateur hour dipshit with his hat on backwards, trying to act like he knows shit about football. And
you
the
just sound
problem
stupid.
is this.
You sound stupid.
I sound stupid.
With the Burrow conversation. Yeah. You suck.
Yeah.
Mahomes is obviously better. He's been better.
He's obviously better. Then what? Wait a second. Who shit their pants in the AFC Championship game at home?
How many championships does Burrow have? How many MVPs does Burrow have?
I believe he has one.
How many games has Burrow won?
Wait a second. You're a dumbass if you bring up MVPs. You're going to bring up MVPs?
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter who wins an MVP. Good for him. And you know what? He'll win it without winning a Super Bowl again. You know,
I mean, still has one. How many does Burrow have?
Dude, I'm telling you this. I don't
Who's won more games the last few years?
Over the last 2 years? Who's won more playoff games over the last 2 years?
One of them's got a ring, the other one doesn't.
Yeah. He's got that ring, 3 years ago, and since then he's lost 2 home AFC Championship games.
And again, Mahomes is still dominating. He lost his best wide receiver, and he's still leading the league in passing.
And I hate to tell you that, damn, are we just that freaking stupid here that you don't realize Jamar Chase didn't play the last 4 games, and Joe Burrow's been the best quarterback in the NFL the last 3 weeks?
Agree to disagree.
Oh, so Jamar Chase played?
No. I'm talking about being the best quarterback.
No, because this is the thing, you know. And yeah, Dan Marino has 0. He's rated top 5 ever, and he's not top 5 ever. Because the thing is this: Patrick Mahomes' career is going to go like Aaron Rodgers, and 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be sitting here wondering how he only won 1 championship. Because he's a gunslinger who takes too many chances. He proved it last year when he basically, on his own, lost the AFC Championship with 2 horrendous interceptions that never should have been thrown. And I'm sorry, but damn, I don't remember Tom Brady in the same game throwing 2 horrendous interceptions to lose his team a home playoff game up 21-3. You know, you give Ryan Tannehill all kind of shit. Ryan Tannehill and Patrick Mahomes did the same thing against the Bengals. So anything you think is useless. Joe, you have something to add?
Yeah. Philadelphia has the best center in football.
Yeah, but see, Dan likes to read Pro Football Focus, which tells him everything he needs to know. Next up, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers, or as I like to call them, the Schittsburg Squealers, at the Atlanta Falcons. The Steelers are 4-7. The Falcons are 5-7. The Steelers are favored by 1, Dan. What do you think? Do you think Terry Bradshaw can win in this game over Michael Vick?
Listen, I might go with Terry, man. That man knows how to win games and win chips. But
how many MVPs did he win, Dan?
Oh, Terry?
Yeah.
I don't think he won any. I don't know.
Yeah, but he won 4 Super Bowls. But I guess Patrick Mahomes is better than him because he's won a bunch of MVPs.
He will be. He will be when it's all said and done.
He won't. And so you're telling me that he's going to go 4-0 in Super Bowls, and in all 4 Super Bowls throw the game-winning pass in the 4th quarter?
Why not?
Because he's already lost the Super Bowl, you dumbass. Pittsburgh at Atlanta -1.
I'm going to take Atlanta in this one. If they can run the ball and Mariota cannot turn the ball over and actually, score in the red zone, they're the better team than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh played great this past week. They looked really good against Indianapolis, but there's too much out there, and I still don't trust Kenny Pickett. So as long as Mariota can keep his Spurs from jingling and jangling, lean on Patterson, lean on the running game, I'll take Atlanta.
All right. I'm taking Pittsburgh. They're the tougher team. And they've got TJ Watt. TJ Watt will make a play that'll score him some points. And the
Probably.
Falcons in this supposed great run game has not been the last 4 games. They've averaged 18 points a game because now people load the box and Marcus Mariota sucks. I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
But they did. They just ran for
Hey,
160.
you know what? Don't repeat me, please. You picked Atlanta to win, and now you're telling me Marcus Mariota sucks. Kenny Pickett, we don't know if he's any good or if he sucks yet. So just chill out. I mean, when I'm given an answer, and I've already let you speak about the Pittsburgh-Atlanta game, and I never interrupted you, I find it rather rude, don't you, Joe, that I get interrupted?
Yeah, I'm just going to pick the game.
Yeah.
So I think Pittsburgh. I think their defense looked great against Cincinnati. I don't think it looked bad on Monday night. I think their offense
defense looked terrible against Cincinnati, Joe.
I didn't think so.
They gave up 37 points. Joe.
They gave up 37 points, but TJ
But it
Watt
wasn't 40, right?
Yeah, it wasn't 40. Look, you could still have some points run up
Their
on you.
Defense sucks. They've just got TJ Watt. So
I think it's looking better, Mike. And I think it looked good or decent on Monday night. Of course, they were playing the Colts, but I think the Falcons are worse in every aspect of the game of football. And you're right, Marcus Mariota does suck. I think it's time to give Desmond Ridder a shot down in Atlanta. Let's see the boy play. I'm going with the Steelers.
Too.
I
got more hope for Kenny Pickett than I do Desmond Ridder. Paul Sullivan picks the Steelers, and then Paul really makes a good point that makes me think maybe he should be on the show sometime, at least as a guest, because he said the Falcons are doo-doo. I mean, that's very well said, Paul.
I think
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
They're doo-doo.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right, next. This is a tremendous matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. One of the oldest rivalries in sports. Now, the favorite in this game are the Green Bay Packers by 4.5 points. What is the status of both quarterbacks for this game, Dan?
Yuck. Packers 4.5. So Green Bay has got an absolute laundry list of injuries. So Rodgers sat out with his thumb and rib injuries, but he said he's playing. He said flat out, he's playing this Sunday, and that's that. So, I mean, if the guy says he's playing, but he didn't practice today.
How about this? Just tell me if Justin Fields is playing or not.
And Justin Fields did not practice. I don't know if we're going to see him. I don't think it behooves them to play this guy and get him more hurt. At this point, it's about next year. So both are on the fence, but it looks like Fields probably not. Rodgers probably. Either way, 4.5.
So who you picking, Dan?
This is ugly. This is so ugly. 4.5?
Your face.
I hate this 4.5. I want to pick Chicago, but if their backup quarterback's playing again, it's gonna be ugly.
Well, Green Bay played pretty good for a half.
You know what? I'm gonna take Green Bay. Let's do it. We're gonna do it live.
Well, it's a pretty easy pick because if it's Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love, they're both better than Trevor Siemian, who I believe was in the original Planet of the Apes. I'm gonna take. Joe didn't get that because he doesn't know that apes are sometimes called simians. Patrick's at Bears, or Packers at Bears. Damn, it sounds like I've been the one drinking, and it's Dan. I'm going to take the Packers also, Joe. What do you think?
Cheese.
Do you get provisional picks on this? Because,
hey, how about this? Just pick the game instead of dicking around.
Pick the game.
just pick the damn game and shut up. Shut your mouth.
I mean, it's the Packers Bears. Shit. Flip a coin.
If Fields isn't playing, I think the Packers win this game.
Okay, this is not how we do this show. You tell me who's going to win the game.
I'm just saying. I'm going to take the Packers since Dan said Fields is not playing. I'll take the Packers, give up the 4.5.
Right, next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Detroit Lions. Nobody cares about your ifs. Nobody cares about ifs, ands, buts, candy, or nuts, except for maybe Dan. The Jaguars at the Lions. Since it's Dan's team, Joe, I'm going to let you pick this first.
Let's go, Joe.
The Lions are 1-point underdogs at home to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'll take the Jaguars. Give up a point.
Okay, Dan.
He's taking Jaguars. Okay. Wait, Joe, did you took Pittsburgh or Atlanta?
Pittsburgh.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to write that down.
Yeah, you're the one that got that one wrong, Dan.
All right, so Jacksonville -1. I'm going to go Detroit. I'm going to pick Detroit here. And I'm going to take Detroit to win. Screw that one. I'm going to take them to win by a touchdown.
Actually, so you know, since it's like a 1-point spread, you're basically just taking them to win, too.
I know, but I wanted
Paul
to say.
Sullivan says Lions, unfortunately. All right. This to me is an easy pick. I'm going to take the Lions. The Jaguars are coming off a highly emotional win last week. They have to go. They have to go to Detroit. The Detroit Lions have played really well. They've won 3 of their last 4. They should have beat the Bills at home. To me, I think the Lions win this game comfortably just because this is the perfect setup. The Lions also, remember, have an extra 3 or 4 days to prepare because they played on Thanksgiving. Yep. Jaguars had a big win. Right now, Joe's thinking, oh, shit, why didn't I think of that? But, no, Joe, that's why I'm the host. I'm taking the Lions, and I'll give the 1 point.
I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars figured out how to play last week.
Oh, my God.
Yo, Trevor Lawrence. That's my boy, man.
Oh,
but
yeah. Martina Navratilova is never winning a Super Bowl. Do you guys know who Martina Navratilova is?
Yeah, isn't that a tennis player?
Yeah, have you ever seen her?
Yeah, I mean, not recently, but
how about you, Joe?
A decade ago.
No, about the only tennis player I remember is
Martina Navratilova.
No, Anna Kournikova. I remember her.
I knew you were going to say that because you're flat out just a pervert.
What is that guy?
He just called you a pervert on air. What a jerk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joe, are you going to say that you're not?
Yeah, I'm not a pervert.
Oh, Joe looks like an upstanding citizen.
I mean, the fact that you only know about Anna Kournikova tells us all we need to know.
Yeah, no, that's because she married Enrique back in the day, didn't she? Or she still married
Enrique. What the hell are you even?
Wait, Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, or they did a music video or something back when MTV TRL was still going hot. I remember the video.
Are you sure that's the video you're remembering, and you're not confusing it with some other inappropriate videos that you might have?
She was in a music video back in the day.
You know what? I'm gonna have to Google this now.
Yeah. All right. How about this, Dan? Google Martina Navratilova and then tell me whether or not she looks like Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, hold on. No, there's this. Nah. It's not. Nah. She doesn't look like Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, she does. You can't look recent. I mean, she's like 70 now, dude.
She's 70 now or something like that. But yeah, if her hair was a little more sunshine, maybe.
You're just not looking at the right picture, dude.
Nah, hold on. Look at those bangs, though. Wait a minute. What is this?
I'm going to give you this. I mean, because it's just, I could show you the picture or I could make you search for it. It's up to you.
Show me.
No. You could do something for once on here. I mean, Joe sets the show up. I'm the host, and you just show up 3 minutes late and drink beer. I mean, you're like an abusive husband to me and, fat boy.
Nice.
I'm just kidding, Joe. Damn. The next game, the Minnesota Vikings against the New York Jets. The Jets are now 7-4 after their big win last week, and they've got Mike White as their quarterback. Minnesota's only favored by 3 at home. I'm going to tell you this. I mean, if I had any money to bet, I would bet it. Like, I would pound it. I don't even have any money, and I'm going to bet it on the Minnesota Vikings to cover the 3 points. I mean, Mike White did this last year. He had one huge game against the Bengals, and then he fell apart. Yeah. Both of those big games were at home. This is on the road. I mean, I think the thing to watch here, the price of admission is Sauce Gardner against Justin Jefferson. But I'm going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to give the points, Joe.
I can't add anything to what you said. I 100% agree. I think the Vikings win by more than 3 this week.
So does Paul Sullivan, and I'll listen to Paul because he's been more right than Joe, and he says Vikings by a lot. Go ahead, Dan. Come on, Dan, take the chance.
I mean,
you know you want to.
I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm totally on board with everything you said as well, Mike, from top to bottom. And some fun stuff here since I do live in New York. The airwaves, every show, every station, every other caller is going crazy about Mike White. And Mike, like you said, last year we dealt with this after that Bengals game, and then he turned into a pumpkin. They're talking winning playoff games with Mike White down over here. Okay.
Well, put it like this. That's because Jets fans, unless they're really old, have never seen a good quarterback. They don't know what a good quarterback looks like.
Vinny Testaverde,
Chad Pennington was all right for a while, but he got the arm injury. Vinny Testaverde was good when Bill Parcells was there for a year or two. The last really good quarterback I remember the Jets having was Kenny O'Brien in the mid-1980s. He was solid. Before that, Richard Todd was all right. And then
Joe Namath?
Yeah, well, you got to let me get to it. Joe Namath in the late 60s. So they got nothing. Nothing at all. You're dead in the water if you're a Jets fan. Be quiet. Next up, the Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. Who'd have thought at the end of the season or at the start of the season, every team in the NFC East right now would be in the playoffs. The Commanders are 2.5-point favorites over the Giants, Dan.
I'm going to take Washington. They're another team that's red hot. If I remember correctly, they won like 6 of their last 7 games or something, and
they're 5-1 with Tyler Heineke at starting quarterback.
They're streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. All right. Whereas the Giants have lost back-to-back games, they haven't looked good, and I think it's fair to wonder: is this what the Giants truly are at this point? They have no weapons. If Barkley isn't scoring and running wild, Daniel Jones isn't going to carry this team. The defense is okay. So I'm going to take Washington. Keep running the ball, keep playing good defense, and keep riding that Heineke train. Riding that Heineke.
Joe.
No, yeah. Heineke's hot. The Commanders are hot right now.
Hot right now.
They're hot right now, and I agree. The Giants are kind of falling off the map. I think the Commanders win this game, probably win it by more than a field goal. So I'll give up the 2.5.
Yeah, I think the Commanders are going to make the playoffs for the simple fact they played the Giants twice. That gets them to 9 wins. You only need probably one more win at most. I mean, I think Brian Daboll has done a great job with the Giants. I mean, if they don't win another game, which I think is highly possible, 7-10 is probably 3 more wins than everybody thought they would have anyways. So Daboll's done a great job. They just need to find some weapons for Daniel Jones, or they need to find weapons in a new Daniel Jones, if you know what I mean. I'm taking the Commanders. To me, the Commanders are hot, and the Commanders, I mean, they can run the ball, they can play defense. Those are usually the 2 biggest ingredients to winning playoff games.
Playoffs?
Right.
Don't talk about playoffs.
Come on, Jim Mora. We've got Joe, the Tennessee Titans at 7-4 at the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 10-1. The Eagles are favored by 6.5.
Was that Joe or was that me?
Joe is what I said, but I don't know if Joe understands these names sometimes.
Just making sure.
Oh no, I actually froze up. I'm sorry. I was having some technical difficulties.
There's no reason to be overly nervous. You know me and Dan. Just talk.
Just feel normal.
Just relax. You loosen your shoulders up a little bit.
Try to be serious.
Oh, almost feels like somebody's behind me.
Dan.
I think 6.5 is still large in the NFL, but I don't see the Eagles losing this game. So I don't think Titans play.
They don't have to lose it at 6.5.
I'm going to give up to 6.5. I think they beat the Titans by more than 6.5.
All right. What do you think, Dan?
So you're taking Tennessee?
No, I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm giving up to 6.5.
I'm taking Tennessee. because this is going to be an ugly game. Both teams are going to run the football. Derrick Henry averaged like 2.2 yards per carry this past week. So they're going to want to reestablish the run. And when that girth gets going, very few men can stop him. And Philadelphia just is coming off a game where they ran for 300 rushing yards or whatever it was as a team. The quarterback had 100. Miles Sanders had 100. Everyone's going in. You get 100 yards, and you get 100 rushing yards. Fucking Oprah out there. But I'm going to take Tennessee.
Hey, can we please not say that name?
I'm going to take Tennessee. I think Philadelphia wins, but I think it's going to be ugly. They're going to ground and pound both sides. So I think Philly wins, but I'll go Tennessee at the 6 minus.
All right, Paul's picking the Titans to win. I am picking the Titans to win, and I think the Titans will win this game by 10 points.
Holy hell.
Well, I just think this. The Eagles have not really been challenged this year. The competition has not been great. The Tennessee Titans are a physical, tough team. Everybody like you sits there and say, well, they ain't got a quarterback. They ain't got this. But what they do have is they have a culture that was created by their coach that is physically tough. I mean, they lost to the Chiefs and Bengals. They lost 2017 to the Chiefs. They lost 2016 to the Bengals. I don't think either one of us here believes the Eagles could beat the Bengals or the Chiefs. Not seriously. And I'm sorry. The Bengals have DJ Reader in the middle. The Philadelphia Eagles don't. Derrick Henry is going to run the ball well. But the big thing to me here is the Eagles are 10-1. They are due to lose a game. And I would question how physically tough this Eagles team is. I think we're about to find out whether it's good or bad. I don't know. But I think the Titans take them into deep water in like a 17-14 or 24-14 game and drown their ass. Next up, we've got the Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, this is ugly. Ravens by 9. Can the Ravens beat anybody by 9, Dan?
If it's anybody, it's
That's
Denver
what I was
Broncos.
thinking when I said it, by the way.
Yo, if they can beat anybody by 9 right now, it's the Denver Broncos. And it makes me sad to say those words out loud because, Mike, you know how highly I think of the Broncos. And
every year you do, and every year they shit your food.
How excited I was. They got Russell Wilson.
They poop in your soup. Put it like that.
Every week I get more and more disappointed. I didn't even think that the Broncos offense could disgust me any further than they have. But every week they try something new. Russell Wilson just threw for his career low this past week. I don't know how much worse it can get in Denver. I don't know.
Did you hear about his birthday party where his wife invited all the team and like half of them showed up?
Yeah,
Is that
probably
related? Are we talking about what happened to Bo Callahan in draft day?
Yeah, it's also what happened to Joe Spillman in 8th grade.
Crazy. But you know what? Even with Baltimore, with all their injuries and all the nonsense and no weapons for Lamar Jackson.
Paul says Ravens by 10, just so you know.
I'm still taking Baltimore. I'm with him. I agree. Paul, you're a genius. I'm taking Baltimore.
All right. I agree, too. I don't agree Paul's a genius. He's probably smarter than Joe. But I'm going to go – I'm just kidding, Joe. I heard Joe's feelings. I could tell. I don't know. He's always got the same look on his face, like he's pooping. I'm going to take the Ravens. I mean, but the Ravens are a mess. I mean, let me tell you this. How does Lamar Jackson get away with the stuff he said on Twitter, Dan?
What did he say on Twitter? What's he doing?
Man, I don't even know if I can repeat it.
Yeah,
maybe I can. Maybe I can pull it. And see, that's the thing. You guys don't even know about it.
I have no idea. Let me go. What's going on with Lamar Jackson?
Dude, how can you not know about this? Because if this would have been like Tom Brady that said it.
Wait a minute.
Broke loose.
What did he tweet?
Oh, dude, it's bad. I'm going to try to pull it up if you guys can't find it. All right.
Oh, man. Oh, it's so bad.
It is really bad. I mean, he basically called a dude gay and told him to eat a dick, and nobody is saying a damn thing about it.
Oh, it's so bad.
It is bad. Repeat it. Tell us what it is, because I don't remember, and I want to remember. I just remember the end was like, eat a dick. So I think I said the worst thing, so you can go ahead and say the other.
No, I'm not going to repeat it, but it was very vulgar. It was a very questionable anti-gay statement, and it was in response to a fan. who tweeted at him and said and was talking smack. Yeah, just.
So, do you think something should be done to him? Put it like this: would something be done if, I don't know, if Daniel Jones tweeted that, or Zach Wilson?
Canceled.
Me personally, I don't think the tweet warrants any sort of suspension or anything. But you can't be talking to fans that way. You can't tell them to eat a dick. It's, there's certain avenues. Like a normal person can say that. A celebrity, a star athlete, etc. They can't be saying that. So at the very least.
So wait a second. Should we
not
say certain people can't say certain things? Everybody else can say whatever the hell they want.
Listen, it's a free country. You can say whatever you want.
No, it's not. It's not a free country, and you can't say whatever you want.
But
that's been proven by the people that have been fired.
But you are not free from other people's perceptions of things.
But wait a second. But this is the thing. So you believe the First Amendment. If you say what you believe and you hurt somebody's feelings, you can get fired or suspended from your job. That's not freedom of speech. Now, I can see it. I mean, freedom of speech is basically you can't yell fire in a theater. You can't yell he's got a gun when he don't have a gun. But why are you not allowed to have an opinion that differs from other people? And this is the thing. This dude talked crap to Lamar Jackson first. So Lamar Jackson went to the gutter in the locker room where almost all athletes, no matter whether they're black and white, are going to go. And I can tell you this, especially if you're growing up in the 70s or 80s, you in a locker room, everything's called gay. And nobody's thinking about gay people. It was just, you just said that if something was stupid to you. And I mean, I know that sounds bad, but I just want to know here why, Lamar Jackson can say this and you haven't even heard about it.
That's a really good question. That is a very good question because you asked if it was somebody else. You said Dan Jones, but you're right. If it was somebody else, would it have been made a really big deal? Would it be all over ESPN and CBS and Fox?
All right, let's do it like this, Dan. Let's just cut the shit. If he was a white quarterback, could he say that?
Yeah.
You think so? You think so, Dan? Really?
But with stuff like this, without getting too political, the First Amendment protects.
This is not political, by the way.
No. But the First Amendment protects you from the government taking action against you for speaking against them. The First Amendment doesn't apply to corporations and private entities. So that's why private corporations can instill whatever rules and mandates they want, and that's why a CEO of a company can't go out and say he loves hookers and cocaine.
So I will say this. Wait a second. We've got guys like Jim Irsay and Robert Kraft who obviously love hookers and cocaine. Nobody ever does a damn thing to them. That's fine because they own the teams. So we also have an NFL that took John Gruden and fired him because of racist emails, but we never got to see what all the other people responded to him, and they were probably racist too.
Yes, that's definitely a thing, I'm sure.
But they're covering shit up. So it's basically, if you're their golden child, you can do whatever you want. Peyton Manning, I'll say it again, when he was in college, sexual assault. I mean, and you can tell me, well, he didn't do it because he didn't go to jail. That's because they paid the woman $1 million. I mean, the woman actually had, Paul Sullivan obviously loves hookers and cocaine because he says all hookers and cocaine. That's what Paul Sullivan, yes. That's a big Cleves, Ohio thing, I think, isn't it, Paul? But Joe said it was. But I'm just kidding. But Joe, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't have any.
You got to have thoughts on it, Joe.
Short and sweet.
If you don't have thoughts on it and you're afraid of it, right there, this country no longer has freedom of speech.
No, I agree with that. This country does not have freedom of speech. It hasn't had freedom of speech for a long time. Like Dan said, the First Amendment only protects you against prosecution from the government for whatever you say, as long as it doesn't impede somebody else's rights. However, our founding fathers, by the nature of that amendment, intended for people to be able to speak their mind and speak what they feel without persecution from the government or any other entity within this country. So you're absolutely right, Mike. You do not have freedom of speech. You can't say what you want in this country without repercussions. And why that might not be prosecution
prosecutorial. And you're a freaking you're a detective for a living. You can't say prosecutorial.
Listen, I know how to say the words. I know what I was trying to say, Mike. What I'm saying.
Say it now.
What I'm saying is you absolutely do not have the right to speak your mind. You don't have the right to tell jokes anymore without being canceled. What Lamar Jackson said is no different than any of us have ever said to any teammate or friend that we've ever had in an argument.
Most people won't admit to it.
I mean, I just crushed you right before we went on air. I almost had you crying. If I said those things, Mike, to you, what I said before we went on air, I'd be canceled.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I made that last part up.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not going to almost
He's
cry.
making a point.
I'm going to fire back because I was born in the 60s, dog. I don't really care what anybody says to me as long as they don't care what I say to them back. And put it like this. Once again, if Peyton Manning would have said this, it'd have been fine. He's the golden child. So it's not really a black-white thing because I think there's black dudes that could have gotten in trouble for it too. But there's certain guys that are protected. You know, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Peyton Manning, all these guys are protected. Tom Brady's not protected. I mean, Tom Brady got fined and suspended for 4 games because he wouldn't turn over his phone to the NFL with that bull crap Deflategate thing. So he was not one of the protected ones. And I mean, it just gets sickening that, I mean, I think we could assume that John Gruden is not the only racist coach, if you know what I mean. And I don't think we could assume John Gruden's racist because he told a joke. And I mean, I just think that we read way too much into everything. And I'll tell you, the way I would like to live is this. Let me know if you're a racist. You know, say the N-word to me so I know. And then I can deal with you or not. That's up to me. The problem with this, everybody keep it in what they actually believe is you never know what the hell you're dealing with in life. All right, next up, the Cleveland Browns at what?
Wait.
What?
Joe, did you say Denver or Baltimore?
Oh, he didn't say anything. Joe, you gonna pick this game or not?
Yeah, you never even let me pick, Mike.
Pick the game, Joe.
You made me go on a political rant. Look,
for 20 seconds.
Yeah, -9's a lot, but the Broncos, they really suck. I think if the Ravens are leading by 7 with 2 minutes left to go, they probably lose. So, but I'm gonna have to take the Ravens in this game. It makes too much sense not to.
Yeah, it's actually hard to believe the Broncos have won 3 games.
Joe doesn't like these big lines, man.
I don't.
Well, last week that killed Joe too because all the big lines paid off. I was thinking about how stupid he was when I was watching that Texans game. All right, the Browns at 4-7 go to Houston to play the Texans, and Deshaun Watson plays for the Browns. This is his first game back. From what I hear, like 10 of his accusers were all going to sit front row of the game right behind the Browns bench, courtesy of their lawyer. Cleveland is favored by 7, Dan.
Now, I am wearing a Browns jersey. I'm wearing my Brady Quinn. And I have Cleveland written down here. Now, I think Watson's going to be fine because he has been allowed to be around the team and participate in team practices and so on and so forth. So it's not like
massages and I mean, it's
exactly. Get team sponsored massages and stuff. So he doesn't, break the law potentially and harass anyone. But I think it's going to be a rough first game. It's his first game since in 2 years or something like that.
He didn't play last year, so
at all.
2020.
Yeah, so it's been a while. So he's going to be rusty. Practice is different from game speed. It's just a matter of fact. So I'm going to pick Cleveland only because Houston is so damn bad. And benching Davis Mills did absolutely nothing. And I love Damian Pierce, but teams are shutting down the run. He has struggled immensely the last couple of weeks, and they have nothing. They have nothing on offense. They have nothing on defense. So I'm going to say Cleveland just by default.
I'll tell you this. Something tells me the Texans are going to win this game.
No way.
But
Mike,
I'm going to pick the Browns. What?
Nothing.
What, Joe?
You stole my thunder. Go ahead.
But I'm going to pick the Browns to win the game because I think they're just going to – and it looks like Paul agrees with me or I agree with Paul, whatever. They're just going to run the ball and win the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Joe, pick it.
Well,
Hell, you're
Dan,
so far behind, it doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what, Dan? You're probably right. The Browns probably do win this game, but I think if
You got that feeling too, don't you, Joe?
I think you call me crazy, but I think there's a divine being that oversees the game of football, as there should be, because it's the greatest game ever invented. And something
Yeah, I'm
tells me
pretty
that
sure God doesn't watch football, but go ahead.
something tells me that the football god does not think Deshaun Watson should have played this year, and he is going to take this win away from him.
See, you're taking you.
I'm taking the Texans. I think they win the
game. I love it. You're going to be another game down. Moving on. Oh, no. Where am I going?
Slow down on the drinking. Next up, we've got the Seahawks, or as Joe likes to call them, the Sea Chickens, at the Rams. The Rams are 3-8. The Seahawks are 6-5. This is kind of a must-win for the Seahawks. The Rams are a mess. Joe, what do you think?
I think the Rams are playing really bad right now. That 7.5 is a big line. But I really think the Seahawks probably run away with this game. So I'm going to take Seattle.
Yeah, I think a lot of mistakes last week. You still got, I don't know if Stafford and Kupp are going to be back. I don't care. I'm taking Geno Smith because, hell, they lost last week, but I don't think you can blame it on Geno Smith. That was more of a defensive issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Seattle in this game, Dan. Do it, Dan. You know you want to pick the Rams.
I'm not doing it. I'm taking Seattle.
We can't have Paul Sullivan on the show because he picks every game exactly like I do. Go ahead.
Paul's a smart guy then. But
yeah, you said it.
No Matt Stafford. No Aaron Donald. No Cooper Kupp. I don't need to say anything else. The Rams are kaput.
So they turned into the worst defending Super Bowl champion in NFL history?
All right. Listen, this is a very sensitive topic for me because
why the Lions have never been like that.
No. But me and my buddy Bob, we go at it whenever this is brought up because I am a strong believer in the Super Bowl hangover. Bob says it doesn't exist. Despite all the evidence of the contrary, Bob says it doesn't exist. It's just
wait a second. Hey, Dan, I'll give you this. The reason it doesn't exist is to get to a Super Bowl, usually you don't have a lot of injuries. It's very unlikely to go 2 years in a row with no major injuries. So I think like Atlanta, when they lost that 28-3 lead to New England, I think that's probably a hangover. But I think winning a Super Bowl, it may take a little bit away. But remember, 33% of all teams change anyways each year. But you lost Von Miller. Stafford's hurt. Kupp's hurt. Donald's hurt. But this team does suck. But go ahead with your rant because you don't agree with Bob for some reason.
And even if the Rams had Donald, had Stafford, and had Kupp, it wouldn't matter because their offensive line might be the worst in the NFL. Their offensive line has done absolutely no favors for Stafford or the ground
Paul
game.
Sullivan said 67 IQ, the Army said. Which one of you guys is that, or is that Paul with the 67 IQ?
Got it. That's it. You know what? It might be Paul, but I don't want to believe that because, you know, he like you said, he makes all the same picks you do. So he can't be stupid.
No, he's not.
Oh,
what are you laughing at, Mr. I was going to say last every week.
Little chuckle there.
Joe. I haven't come in last every week. Done this show, Mike.
Well, the first week you tied me for first, and then you came in last every week since. You're right.
Oh,
hey, but remember this: If you want to take Joe's bets and make some money, bet the opposite way. Go to betting.net. Find the best promotions, offers, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Head over to the website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. And we highly recommend BetBread to bet on this weekend's games. You can click in the link in the description down below on the video if you're watching this on YouTube. And make sure you follow us at Grueling Truth on Twitter. Joe, the floor is yours.
Well, what do you want me to talk about?
I don't know. What were we talking about?
We all picked the Seattle Rams games. I think we're on to the next one.
No, wait. Dan was talking something about the Super Bowl hangover and him and his girlfriend Bob.
I'm done with it. I believe in the hangover.
All right, a rematch of Super Bowl 19. The Miami Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers. This is one of the best matchups of the weekend, boys. I think we find out exactly how good the Dolphins offense is. The Niners are favored by 4. Dan, the floor is yours.
I'm going to take San Francisco, and it is entirely because of their defense. They are ridiculous. They're number 1 in total yards per game allowed. They're number 1 in points per game allowed. They're just a lockdown defense, and I want to say kudos to them because coming into the year, their front 7 wasn't a concern. Their secondary was the question, and sure, they're not doing amazing against the pass. They're allowing 202 yards per game passing.
That's pretty good in the NFL, dude.
That is pretty good, but it still ranks as like outside the top 10. I'm nitpicking, but their pass defense is better than I thought it would be. Their corners were questionable coming in. Their safeties were questionable coming in. They have a lot of young guys at corner, but that defense is crazy. As good as Miami's been, and I like Miami, their offense is explosive. Their defense has been getting better every week. As long as Jimmy G doesn't turn the ball over, San Francisco's not losing this game. It's just that simple.
All right, I disagree. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I mean, you can sit here and talk about the defense all you want. Can you tell me what good offense with a passing game that the 49ers played this year, Dan? Because I look at this. Week 1. Hold on. Week 1, they played the Bears. Week 2, Seahawks. Week 3, Broncos. Week 4, Rams. Week 5, Panthers. Week 6, Falcons. Week 7, the Chiefs, and they gave up 44 at home. Week 8 against the Rams. Week 9 against the Chargers, who they barely beat, but I don't think we can call the Chargers a great offensive team right now. Week 10, the Cardinals. Week 11, the Saints. Dolphins are going to be able to throw the ball. They're going to be able to score. And this is not if Jimmy Garoppolo turns the ball over. This is whether Jimmy Garoppolo can put the ball in the end zone. So this week, to me, tells us a lot about both of these teams. And Paul says San Francisco is the best team in the NFL. I will say this. If you're not counting a quarterback, yes. I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo can't do this. We all know I am mildly amused by Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he's trash like Dan does. But if he's a good quarterback, they're going to have to score in the 20s to win this game, I think. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And what I've seen is the only high-powered offense that the 49ers faced put 44 points on them. Now, I think Bosa might have missed that game, but I'm talking about defensive backs too. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to take the 4 points because I think this is a 3-point game one way or the other. So I'm going to take the 4 points, but I think the Dolphins can definitely win this game. But I think if Jimmy Garoppolo comes out and makes plays and the 49ers score 24 points or more and win this game, then I think there's a lot of validity to what Paul says about them possibly being the best team in the NFL. Joe?
I agree, Mike. I think that this is going to be a really close game. I think it comes down.
It's going to be a slobber knocker, a barn burner.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a field goal or less. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins in the points in this one. I think the Dolphins probably actually win this game, but San Francisco is playing well.
I don't think it's probably either way. I think this is a complete toss-up. That's why I'm just going to take the points.
Right. And that's why I'm taking them. I think I think Jimmy G and the 49ers, their defense has played well, Dan. And this is one of these games where just like anybody could win. And when you pick going to pick them and one team's favored, you're going to take the team that's not favored.
That is very astute, Joe.
Yeah,
because
you're welcome.
my other question is this. I also have questions about Tua. Because it's not like the Dolphins have played outstanding defenses. And when you look at this, their big points games were against the Lions, the Bears, the Texans. I mean, they did put 39 on the Browns. That's mildly impressive. The Browns aren't horrible, but they're definitely not good. They did put 38 on the Ravens, but they're the Ravens and they had a big lead, so they were bound to give up enough points to lose the game.
Pretty much.
But the thing I will bring up here is this, and this worries me about picking the Dolphins because the Dolphins only put up 15 against the Bengals. I mean, they lost 40-17 to the Jets. They played low-scoring games against the Patriots, who have a good defense. That was 20-7. They played a low-scoring game against the Bills, 21-19. So I think there's questions about both quarterbacks. And I know in that Bengals loss where they only scored 15, I know that Tua got hurt and only played about half the game or a quarter and a half of the game. Yeah. But I think with both these teams, there's the capability. This could actually be the preview of the Super Bowl. I think there's also the capability that these are just two one-and-done teams in the playoffs. I think there's a lot of questions on offense for both teams.
All right. Actually, for the Dolphins, I have less questions about their offense, more so their defense.
I have a lot about their defense. That's why I didn't mean all the questions. I meant questions to me, San Francisco's offense, Miami's defense, and I still question both quarterbacks. I think they both could be really good, but I'm also not completely buying in yet.
Fair enough. Speaking of buying in, what's our next game?
Well, speaking of buying in, if you want to buy in and bet on games, it's not just sports betting. You can actually bet on slots, poker, and table games online. You go to betting.net, you'll find all the best places to do that. They will compare those best online casinos for you. You can sit back, relax, chill out, drink a beer with Dan, and play some slots. All right, next up, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And we have, what is the point spread here? It is Chargers by 1.5. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I don't think I've went first for a while, so I'm going to go first here. I'm going to take the Raiders here. They're at home. I think Josh Jacobs is highly underrated. The Raiders have also won 2 in a row and are 3-1 against the spread as underdogs this season. And the last 2 meetings between these teams were very close games. I am still, I think, the only man in the world that doesn't buy the Justin Herbert bullshit. But I know the Chargers are not well coached, and I know they've still got injuries. I'm going with the Raiders here, Dan. Hey, Paul agrees again. He takes the Raiders.
And you know what? I'm going to agree with you and with Paul. And I'm going to take the Raiders as well. Josh Jacobs leads the NFL in rushing right now. He's one of those other guys that is in a contract year and is having a career season. So buyer beware potentially. But as much as I love Justin Herbert, and he showed out in the last game. He came up with big plays. He got key third downs. He come down the field.
This is my Joe Biden impersonation. Are you ready? He played the Cardinals. And then I'll touch and sniff the hair of a 12-year-old girl. Go ahead.
Well, regardless of the competition, he played well enough to lead them to a victory, got key third downs, and that's what you're looking for. But
yeah, from a front runner, he beats bad teams. It's awesome.
As much as I love Justin Herbert, I think this is going to be another ugly game. The Chargers are always dealing with injuries. They held out Mike Williams from practice again today.
Hey, it's the NFL. Everybody deals with energy and injuries. It's time for the Chargers to just shut up and play.
So I think it is going to be close, but I'm going to take the Vegas Raiders on this one.
Joe Spillman.
All right. Well, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to take the Chargers because week to week, you don't know what Chargers team's showing up, and I think you're absolutely right, Mike. The Chargers.
That's kind of why you pick against them, by the way, Joe. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, but you just said everything that anybody needs to know. They beat bad teams, and I don't think the Raiders are a good team. So I think
I think the Raiders are a good team with a horrible coach, and they fired the guy that could have got them somewhere last year.
Well, and I agree, but they're only favored. They only have to give up 1.5, and when I think that a team's going to win, and you're only giving up 1.5, that's who I'm going with.
That is
if they only win by 1, then I don't win.
All right,
and you don't win.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts at 4-7-1 at the Dallas Cowboys 8-3. Dallas is favored by 11, which makes this game much more interesting to pick. Joe?
Ooh, man. The Colts are really bad.
The Colts are so bad.
They're horrible. They suck. They're ass.
Dallas is pretty decent. 11's a lot. I'm going to break my own rule here, though. They're playing at Dallas. I think Dallas runs away with this game. I don't even think this is close.
I think it could be. Jonathan Taylor's there. And they've been playing a lot better since Jeff Saturday. What do you think, Dan? 11 points is a lot, dude. And, we've seen the Cowboys poop on themselves.
Jeff Saturday let 25 seconds run off the clock for absolutely no reason.
Dude, I'm trying to get Dan to pick the damn Colts and take the points. Will you chill out? Jeff Saturday's a bozo, but
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as well. I don't want to pick them. 11 is crazy, and honestly, I agree. I think
plus, I got my Roger Staubach jersey on, so I'm picking the Cowboys.
The Cowboys could very well shit the bed on this one, but I'm gonna take Dallas.
I don't think they shit the bed. I think the Colts are going to completely implode over the rest of the season, end up 4-12-1. And then have to fire him. And the problem is this: it'll be like before. They won't be able to get anybody that they want because nobody that they want wants to come to Indianapolis to be the Colts head coach under the Irsay family. Next up, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm really not because I don't like.
Sorry, Steve.
The New Orleans Saints. Well, Steve would agree right now. I guarantee you. He would say the Colts suck, and we would have to agree with him because they do. And it's a shame because I wish they didn't just for Steve's sake. But New Orleans Saints at 4-8 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in first place at 5-6. The Buccaneers are favored by 3.5. But the Buccaneers probably only advantage in any game is their quarterback. Tom Brady, for all the crap he gets, 14 touchdowns, 2 picks. Ain't a bad season. It's everybody else around him that's the problem. And 3.5 points is not a lot.
Nope.
This is a rough one. And they just got embarrassed by the Browns because anytime you lose to the Browns, it's embarrassing no matter how bad you do it.
Tampa should not have lost that. Should be embarrassed.
I'm going to say I'm going to take the Bucs and give the 3.5 points, but you can flip a coin on this game because really, if the Saints win this game, they're right back in the thick of the playoff race, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to
go the race to get their ass kicked in the first round at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. This is a. I'm going to go against.
Pick the Bucs too every time.
I'm going to go against what I just said because I think this is a toss-up game. I think the Saints can win this game, but I also think the Buccaneers can win this game.
That is awesome analysis, by the
way. Just Mike. Okay, I'm going to take the Bucs and give up the 3.5 just because I want to because I'm a closet Tom Brady fan. That you wanted to hear?
Yes.
I didn't really care what you picked, to tell you the truth. It's the Bucs and Saints, and nobody cares. Dan, did you pick this game?
I did not.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady fan too.
Hey, will you let Dan make his pick? He doesn't interrupt you, Joseph. Go ahead.
Hey, Joseph. I think the Andy Dalton experiment is over. Now that Jameis Winston is healthy and this team is still
in 3 weeks from now, Jameis Winston experiment will be over and Andy Dalton will be back. So
exactly. I'm going to go with New Orleans. I know I was snake bitten by them last week, and I said to myself going in, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pick New Orleans. I don't want to do it. But you know what? I'm going to do it.
You talk to yourself like that in the mirror, like after you get a shower?
Exactly. I look at myself. I tell me how sexy I am, and then I talk myself up.
You got to do it because ain't nobody else going to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Someone's got to say it to me, even if it's me. So, yes.
Do you wear that hat backwards in the shower, Dan?
Sometimes.
Figured.
if I'm feeling squirrely enough.
Are you bald like right back here where it starts, and then you wear a hat all the time and don't want anybody to see it?
Listen, I go to my barber, and that man, I complain. I'm like, oh man, my hair is so crazy. And he looks at me, he goes, what are you complaining about? And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he like runs his fingers through my hair. And it's like, you know how many people would kill for this, including Mike Goodpaster? Who
No,
hasn't had-
dude, I'm sorry, but if your barber is running his hand through your hair, telling you how
Listen.
sexy your hair is, your barber
Listen,
wants to sleep with you, Dan.
You see this
Yeah.
thick head of hair here? You see this fucking, you see this? I hate it. It's a curse because it's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy.
I would rather have no hair.
Listen,
And
it's
then
a lot
you
of
got Joe, who's like in between hair and no hair. That means Joe's slowly going bald, so he's slowly, so people don't notice.
Have you told anybody to put the lotion on?
We
Put
can't
the
hear you.
lotion on the skin.
What?
We didn't hear that. You were cutting out.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah, it puts the lotion on.
Well, I mean, it's good to know that Dan's sleeping with his barber, though. What's his name?
Listen,
Michelle.
I have thick, rich Puerto Rican hair. Okay, I have wonderful, manly locks.
Hey, Paul
and
says to file a report on your barber, Dan.
You know what? I might. I've been
No,
harassed.
you
I
won't,
might have
because
to.
you would enjoy it if anybody told you were sexy.
Yeah, Paul. But no, this hair is crazy. My barber compliments me often. So no.
Hey, wait a second. I think, doesn't Paul own like a condo in Florida? Shouldn't he rent that out for free to me and Joe to go have a nice week?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Dan could come too. Paul could come too. We could do the show live from his resort.
Yo, Tequila's O'Neill's. I'm in.
Huh?
What?
All right. Let's see. Here we go. I wanted to bring this up. Betting.net finds the best promotions, offers, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Check out or head over to their website now to take advantage of things like free pineapples and matching deposits.
Turn it upside down, Dan.
We have a response from Paul. Just said, ha, ha, ha. It was worth a shot, guys. I tried.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo.
Because Joe told me I saw that he's got one. I said, we'll give it a shot. But
So that's a soft no then, Paul?
I think that's
I
a
don't
very
know.
soft no.
What if we don't bring Dan? I mean, not bringing Dan. I mean, may just change it though.
Dan, you could
Nah, Paul. I gotta be there, Paul. Don't G me.
Yeah, Dan, you could stay at home with your barber.
Yeah, you could, because you'll run a
Thank you,
parade.
Joe.
What's the hardest? Dan's barber.
And
What's
he
his
means
hardest Dan's barber?
hard, firm, through life experiences.
It's a hard no. It's a hard no.
You're killing me.
Or
You're
it
killing me.
could mean a hard yes, though.
Hey, hi-oh.
All right, let's just wrap the show up before he can respond. How about that? Guys,
All right.
make sure you check out Dan and his significant other, Bob. What's you guys' what's your little tweet handle thing?
So we're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Yeah, on Twitter, on Instagram.
Is Bob your barber? Bob the barber.
At DB Talking Sports. D as in Dan, B as in Bob.
D as in douche, B as in bag. Joe, what's your Twitter handle?
You can catch me on MySpace.
Oh my God. Yes, Joe.
You can catch him on MySpace and the Farmer's Almanac.
Yes, I'm in.
That's 41 Spillman 4150. That's Spillman 4150.
What's the 4150 for?
It should be 6950.
Will you be quiet? Not everybody's a pervert like you and your barber.
Like Joe.
Yeah.
What's the 4150 for, Dan? Or Joe?
Well, 50 was my number, 41 was my dad's number. I got on Twitter.
Right your number was not 50 when you played for me.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, you You know what, Dan? I got a Twitter right around the time he died last year, so it is pretty cute. How's that make you feel?
It makes me feel real warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
Like your barber
There you
does.
There you go, making fun of me.
Mike for the win.
I didn't hear what Mike said.
I said you said make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. And I said just like Dan's barber makes him feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, bussy. Let's do it.
And Paul, you can follow on AOL Instant Messenger.
Hit the instant chat rooms later on Yahoo.
He'll be on there with Joe. All right, guys, make sure tomorrow night. What are we doing tomorrow night? Oh, I'm doing a Cincinnati Bengals show with Joe Kelly to preview the Bengals' upcoming game against the Kansas City Chiefs at 7:00. Were we doing something at 8, Joe? Or
We are. You are also me. Well, I mean, if Dan's available.
Oh, we're gonna talk college football tomorrow night at 8. Dan, you want to get on with us?
Nope.
Good.
Huh.
All right. So
Whatever, Dan.
we will be on at 8:00 tomorrow to talk college football. That is the show where we each get paid $400 for doing it too. So it would only have been $300 each if Dan would have been on. But make sure you check us out at 8:00 for the college football show. Yeah, that's all I got. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up because the Indiana Hoosiers are getting ready to tip off against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Make sure you follow us at Grueling Truth.
Yeah.
That's the
Make
one.
sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you check out Betfred and TGT Play. TGT Play you can find on Twitter at, coincidentally, TGT Play. You can also find them and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you check them out. And our top recommended sportsbook for betting on the games this weekend is Betfred. You can find a link in the description and the video down below if you're watching on YouTube. But for now, for Dan Kornhauser, Joe Spillman, and it seems like I should say, and Paul Sullivan, because he was on all night. Thanks for the comments, Paul. I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to the Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.